for going into a big game here against Grandview Zebras. Grandview is, I guess it's southeast of Waco.
Yeah, it's just south of the Metroplex. And they have a really a good history of being a really strong program, and
they've had several state championships. 8 or 10 years ago.
Yeah, 2018 and 19 they won back to back, and then kind of surrounding that have been just some deep playoff runs, and they're one of those teams that year in and year out they're gonna have a chance and it being really good, and their kids have a ton of belief, which is invaluable for a program to have. And once you have that, then you're able to overcome some of the years where maybe you don't have as great athletes, or you have some injuries or things like that. They definitely have that going on for them. And kind of like we talked about with Mineola last week, they've played Malakoff, they've played some, Glen Rose is a really good 4A team. They played Mejia very close. I mean, they've seen some really good football teams, and so they're not going to be intimidated by us, and they're gonna expect to win the game, and so we're gonna have to beat them. We understand that it's not going to be something where they're beating themselves or the moment's too big for them by any stretch.
Coach, their offense is pretty open.
Mm-hmm.
You see anything in there that may be of something that might make a special note of?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're so one. I think that the unique thing that people will probably notice right off the bat is how wide their offensive line splits are. They're probably a couple yards apart, and it kind of varies depending on what they're doing, but really wide splits, and then they are going to, getting pretty standard formations, trips and doubles and tray, and trips with the tight end up, tight end on the other side, and they have a really good quarterback, number 8, who's a sophomore who does a really good job operating their offense, and then number 0 is their running back, and he also plays defensive end for them, and he's a junior and a really special player. Number 5 is a guy who plays. He can play some H-back. He can play receiver. He also plays on defense, and he's just a sophomore. He's a really big, good-looking kid. And number 1, their tight end, is another very talented kid. They're going to try to get the ball to. So they have a bunch of playmakers that we're going to have to be ready for. But I think, like I said, the unique thing is are there splits on offense, and it'll be interesting to see how they want to attack us. They hadn't seen just a whole lot of 4-man fronts like we play on defense, and so that'll be interesting to see how they want to go about attacking us. And I'm sure they saw some things off our video last week with Mineola that they'll want to try to take advantage of. So we'll have to be ready for that.
Quarterback's got a pretty good arm. He's got a good receiver. He's not afraid to go down.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah, they have some really good receivers. I mean, and like I said, the quarterback he's a tough kid, and he'll run it. And one of the things I like to see is when he's got a defender coming up on a tackle, he's going to lower his shoulder and go get a couple extra yards. And so you like to see that out of your quarterback, kind of just that toughness and moxie, and so he definitely has that. And so we're going to have to be really good tacklers on Thursday, because there's some big kids and they don't go down easily.
Coach, defensively, but back to the offense, I don't think they've seen an defensive line quite like ours.
Yeah.
I think we're going to cause some problems there for them.
Yeah, I mean, Malakoff is very big and active up front. I think that, the thing about our kids is, we are pretty physical up front, and I hope we're pretty sound. I mean, I coach them personally, so if we're not, then something's up, and everybody can yell at me. But Coach Randolph also, coaches those interior guys and does a really great job with them. And our best, I don't think anybody in our team would argue our best defensive lineman is number 53, Zay Pryor, and
he is a dog.
He's extremely disruptive, and he's not very tall, but he has kind of an ideal nose guard frame and body, and extremely strong and physical, and I think we showed a play the other night from that game where he got cut, he bounces up off the ground and then goes and runs down and makes the tackle, and that's him.
He's got some speed for a big guy.
Yeah, he does. And so anyway, we feel good about our defensive line and the way they're playing, and that's with our defense. That's where our most experienced players are. You have Zay, Kentrell Perry, who plays next to him, is another senior who's played in a lot of football games. Keyshawn Whitaker, I think for people who've been watching, Jefferson Bulldog football, feel like he's maybe been here for 6 or 7 years, because he started and was playing as a freshman and a sophomore, and
he will knock the dirt out of your mouth.
And he tore his knee up last year, but he's fully recovered from that and back. And I think the cool thing about him and these seniors is they just understand the game now, kind of the game within the game, and so they can come off to the sideline and kind of tell you some stuff that's going on that's helpful, helpful information. But then you pair those guys with another senior, Cornell Nunn, who's been a really big playmaker for us this year and playing defensive end, outside backer, wherever we need him. He's also extremely athletic and able to make a bunch of plays. And then Aaron Ballard is a junior who plays the other defensive end, and he's just very steady, extremely dependable. You know what you're going to get out of Aaron, and he's extremely coachable and very respectful. And so with all those guys, and then we throw in a freshman, Bryson Mosley, who does not play like a freshman, and then we have Justin Osborne inside that can play, and then Jason Webster is another. He's 6'5". Now he's pretty skinny right now. We got to get some weight on him, but he's a converted basketball player, but he's got a really special, unique skill set. So all that to say, our defensive line is the position group where we feel, really confident, and I think they're gonna have to play big for us Thursday in order for us to have a chance.
And then, Coach, you've got some pretty dadgum quick linebackers too. I mean, they come up and fill gaps and Thor, my gosh, last week what do you have, 22 tackles?
And I'm always a little skeptical. I think his mom Tanya might be doing those tackles, keeping tally of those tackles or something. Sometimes I have to go back and.
Well, now all moms do that.
I sometimes I'm like, there ain't no way, and I go back and I watch the game and I'm like, well, I guess he did, because just about every play he's in there, and. Coach Kimball brought me in the other day and was like, man, look at this play. And it really wasn't a play he was supposed to make, but he just found a way, and the kid kind of gets his foot swiped out from underneath him, and you get up and it's number 7 who did it, and so he, we really depend on him a lot, and he's impressive. And then equally as impressive is the guy standing next to him, Dale Brown.
Oh, yeah.
Both of those guys, if I'm an opposing running back or ball carrier, I do not want to see those guys. I think I'd probably have to make a business decision going up against those two guys, because both of them are extremely smart and just seem to be always in the right spot, and then will unload on you when they get a chance. But then they're also great kids, and they don't talk a whole lot. And Coburn was going to be on this show last week, but he had a test in his class that he didn't want to miss, and so
we'll get him next week.
So that's the kind of kid he is too. He doesn't want to miss his schoolwork, and so I respect that. But those linebackers are both unbelievable.
Coach, coming into this game, the attitude of the kids, are they still up? I mean, are they, as we get into the more and more get into the deeper part of the playoffs, are they still the same kids, or can you tell they're apprehensive, or because they don't understand how good they are, I don't think.
I feel like, this may sound surprising to people after we kind of came out slow last Thursday, but I feel like they've been really locked in, and they've just been kind of up to the task at hand. And, I think when you talk to them or ask them about stuff, they're just ready to go play and have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. And so I think the seniors especially are understanding the urgency of the moment and how quickly this thing can be over, and that we have something really special going on here, and that this doesn't happen all the time. And so we have to take advantage of it and take, advantage of every opportunity. And so I just feel like everybody's been really locked in. Last week we had a really good week of practice, and so far in our preparation this week, it's been, everybody's been asking right questions and doing what they're supposed to be doing. And so, that's good to see. We're not having to chase guys down and wonder where they are or anything. And they're in there watching film and asking questions and seeing things. And so, yeah, they're pretty locked in at this point, I would say.
Coach, the younger guys, do they honestly understand the level of football they're playing? Because, we've got some of those sophomores and even freshmen or two that are playing at senior pace already. Yeah. Do they understand how good they actually are?
I don't know. We do our best to knock them down a few pegs every chance we get to keep them from thinking too highly of themselves. With Turkey, you don't have to do that very much because I know he's going to get that at home too. And Travis, really all those guys, they're pretty humble kids. And that's an issue. That's not an issue we really have to deal with. And a lot of that stems from our older guys being so humble, and so it's modeled for them. But I think to them, that's just all they know, and that this sophomore class has been one that's been talked about for a long time around here, and everybody's been anticipating them being, in high school, and I think everybody expected this. But I think, every week that we get another week to play in the playoffs is more football, more experience for them. So when those guys are juniors next year, they're really starting to play like seniors. And then when you get them as seniors, they're second coaches, they're extra coaches on the field, and they become really smart and just able to diagnose what's going on. And so, I think those young guys are just doing a great job of staying humble and just showing up big in time at moments when we need them.
Let's talk a little bit about Turkey.
Yeah.
You're talking about a guy, what is he, maybe 5'5"?
Yeah, he's tiny. Yeah.
And 125 pounds, maybe 130 pounds.
Yeah.
And he goes through that line like it's as big as Cam.
Yeah.
And sometimes they just snatch him up off his feet and sling him around, and he's right back in their face 30 seconds later.
Yeah.
That kid I don't think he's well beyond what he is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he plays bigger than he is.
Yes,
Yeah, he just has, and that's one thing I appreciate about him is he just has that confidence and that swag. And like I said, a lot of those kids do. They just believe that they're going to go make a play. And
that's what champions do.
Yeah, and I really... That's not anything that I can necessarily take credit for. Our coaching staff can take credit for. That's been how they've been coached and brought up as kids. And I think maybe where our role in that has come is giving them an extra layer of confidence and knowing that not only do they have the ability, but now we're preparing them in a way where they know what they're supposed to do, exactly what they're supposed to do, and they can, diagnose a defense or see where a cutback lane is, or, if you're talking about a guy like Travis, how to read a defender and know what route to run. I think all of that, the stuff that they have, that they brought into this year, plus the things that we're bringing as coaching staff, has made them a really confident group of kids where they just believe they're going to go make a play, which is why I think you see, Tomias go to those guys in crunch time because, it's because of that. For example, Travis has made several third and long catches and, kind of come up big for us. And this last week we'll go for it on fourth down, and, Tomias overthrows Turkey. Otherwise, he would have walked in the end zone. But the fact that he's going to Turkey in that moment, in a fourth down in a big-time game, just kind of shows you how he feels about him and the confidence that those guys elicit from our older guys.
Coach, we come out close slow in a couple of the games, but it's like the kids go in at halftime and they're not worried a bit about it. They come out and you guys have adjusted what they're doing, and it's they're there. So quit worrying about it. It's starting a little slow, folks.
Well, I told them at halftime, I said, and this is kind of a peek, I guess, into what we, but everybody always says, well, what did y'all say? It's never anything earth-shattering, but I said, what do y'all want me to do, guys? You want to throw a chair or kick a trash can, which I may or may not have done both of those at one point during the season, but so do you want me to yell and scream, or do y'all want to just get this fixed and go play like the team that you're capable of playing like?
And they're businessmen, and that's what they want.
Well, and what I told them too, the message is you guys got to know how to handle success, and now is not the time to start playing tight, because that ain't what got us here. What got us here was playing our best, being our best versions of ourselves, and right now you're not doing that. You're playing not to lose instead of going and playing to win, and just, man, letting your hair down and going and making plays and playing with a ton of confidence. We're playing tight. We're and you saw that with our secondary guys making just bad reads on balls. Well, part of it is those guys are sophomores, and as much as we just talked about how awesome they are, they haven't been in games like this before, and that's their first postseason game ever. And for some of those guys, and that's a different. There's just different energy to that and a different feel to that. So that was the main thing, was just kind of getting them refocused. And then at the end of the game, I told them, I said, you guys are going to drive me crazy. I'm going to need some of Mr. Ned's heart medicine, carrying around in my pocket from here on out. Yeah, I might need them, because I said, quit doing this, and let's just go win a game like we're supposed to go, win it. But again, we'll take it. But they understand that, we can't do that against, a team like Grandview. We can't do that.
Each team's going to get a little bit
we got
better.
to come out and fire on all cylinders. So I promise we rack our brains about what can we do to start fast and what, all that kind of stuff. And I just think it's just a matter of guys, again, not playing tight and just being loose and being confident and confident in themselves. So
we're going over to Athens.
Mm-hmm.
Game starts at 7 on Thursday night.
Yep.
That's a pretty good field over there. It's been a long time since I've been over there, but
yeah, they updated it a few years ago and redid locker rooms and things like that, and it's got some new turf, and of course that's Trinity Valley's stadium as well. So it's a junior college stadium also, and so it's a nice stadium and really about as close between us and Grandview, about equidistant as you could hope to get, and still playing in a nice stadium. And so we're glad to be there, and there were some other teams trying to get in there, and fortunately we beat them to the punch and got on there, and everybody wants to know why we're playing Thursday games, and so I'll go ahead and answer that question if people know. But number one, our state championship for our classification's on a Thursday, so getting in that schedule was important for us. But then also, when you get this point of the season, most of your preparation your physical preparation is done Wednesday, by Wednesday. Thursday's a pretty mental day. And when you don't have sub-varsity games to kind of keep you occupied that night, well, you're really just kind of sitting around a lot on Thursday. And so for us, we'd rather just take that day out, because all the mental stuff we do on a Thursday, we're able to do, in the morning during our athletic period and get all that stuff out of the way. And so it kind of compresses our week, and not our preparation time. It's the same preparation time, but just compresses the week and then allows us to kind of start getting a jump on our next week's opponent. And so all those things, we feel like that's why we like playing on Thursday, and plus it's easier to get in the stadium and find good officials, all those things. But
especially the good officials.
That's right.
But this time of year, the further you get, the better they're going to be.
Yeah, theoretically, yeah, and that is true, and this time of year, we do get you have your pick of officiating crews, and so that's another benefit. But we're excited, and of course, when you get this far, I really don't care what night we're playing. I just want to be playing. So, but we're really looking forward to it.
Coach, anything different offensively?
Well, we're going to run Cam. I don't know if that's I mean, if Grandview's watching, number 5 is running the ball. So
who was the receiver the other night that came in, and was it T-Gray?
Yeah, Travis, the little orbit return motion.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to get obviously Cam's going to be involved early and often, and probably have a few wrinkles in there that I won't disclose on this thing, but for people to see and to try to take advantage of some things that we've seen that we feel like we could take advantage of. But ultimately, it's going to come down to our guys making plays. Unfortunately, as much as we love having Cam, I think the best thing about our offense is we're not Cam dependent.
We can't go downfield when we need to.
We can go down, or we can throw
Turkey in there,
or during 20 Jacoby Morrow or Dell back there at running back, and we even have some JV kids who are also very talented that can get us out of a jam if we need it, or spell somebody, and so we're going to be able to get the ball in our playmakers' hands Thursday. We feel pretty confident.
Did we have any JV players last week that played during that game?
We did, yeah. Not as many as we would have liked because of the way that the nature of the game and the way it went. But yeah, we had some guys get in, and we had some guys we're really excited about. That we pulled up, and I just appreciate them because they come out and practice, and we have some guys who are quote unquote practice players, and so we just don't have enough jerseys to suit them all out. But so they get to go with us, and they're treated like a member of the team in every other respect. And then we have some guys who are suited up and who will get in a game, who play some special teams and things like that. And so I think that's really important to reward those guys for helping us out all year, but also just for them to kind of see what it's like and be able to enjoy the experience as well, so that's kind of helps them as they grow, and then they become the leaders of our program. They've had that experience of making these playoff runs and seeing how the older guys handled it and all those things.
Coach, anything different defensively?
I don't think so. Like I said, our guys are going to have to be guys, the guys we count on, and we're fortunate to be healthy, and so we don't have to plug in any new faces or anything. It's going to be, we got who we got at this point, and so and we feel good about that, and so we're just going to be, as far as defensive goes, flying around and have to be really great tacklers on Thursday.
Coach, tomorrow night we're going to have a special night on Wednesday. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think that's just such a cool thing about our community, and that our booster club and all our organizations and groups in town are putting that on, and that's going to be a tailgate starting at 5 p.m. and then a community-wide pep rally at 6. And again, that's the kind of stuff that's not happening, in bigger cities and places like that. And I think that's why it's so special to be in a smaller town, and where everybody's on board and everybody's backing the Bulldogs, and we're gonna recognize our youth football teams and cheerleaders and our junior high, and it's just going to be a big celebration, and so I'm really excited about that, and just really appreciative of everyone who's putting that on, and everybody's going to be there, and so we're just, from my family standpoint and our coaching staff, we feel really blessed to be a part of this community.
Okay, Coach, anything else?
I just want to invite everybody out Thursday night. There is no school on Friday, and so thank you to Mr. Walker for getting that done. And I even think I saw the county offices are closing down. So
courthouse is closed.
Courthouse is closed. City Hall
closed.
So I think everybody, we need to see everybody in Athens Thursday night wearing maroon and being loud and supporting the Bulldogs as we try to move on to round 3.
All righty. 11-0. Let's go.